So I've been out of town and also pretty busy on this month's Best in Horror countdown, but I didn't want to let some of the highlights of October go unnoticed on ML Miller Frights. The first episode of Chucky dropped last night on USA Network and ScyFy, and I couldn't let a day go by without chiming in about everyone's favorite Good Guy Dolls new series. So here goes. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Chucky Season 1, Episode 1 is entitled Death by Misadventure. It's new on demand and streaming on USA Network and ScyFy. The series was directed by Don Mancini. It was written by Don Mancini, Sarah Acosta, and Kim Garland. Chucky begins with the titular doll being sold at a garage sale to a young art student named Jake, played by Zachary Arthur. Jake is bullied at school for being different. He's come out as gay, which does not sit well with his alcoholic father, played by Devon Sawa, who thinks Jake is too young to decide who he likes and feels he can beat the gay out of Jake. But the put upon Jake's luck is about to change, though it's still unsure if it's for the better or worse, as Chucky, who just happens to house the soul of the famous serial killer Charles Lee Ray and is voiced by Brad Dourif, takes a liking to Jake, possibly seeing a little of his own childhood trauma in the angsty teenager, and decides to make those who bully, pick on, and push Jake around should pay the ultimate price. The first episode is a strong start to the series I had high hopes for. Sure, the movement of the plot is slowed down quite a bit. While there's only one death in this episode, it does prove to be a significant one that pushes the story forward and threatens to take Jake down a very dark path of self-discovery. Chucky doesn't really even speak or do much other than recite the usual good guy sayings until the halfway point of this episode. But I think it's a good sign that I didn't really miss Chucky, as I found myself interested in Jake's story. Once Chucky does show up, the speed of the episode increases, and that last half hour really whizzes by. But I feel the character development in the first half hour was necessary to illustrate Jake's issues with his own sexuality and being bullied at school in a thorough manner as to make Jake a character we can root for. The episode is littered with trendy songs from Billie Eilish and the like, promising foreboding things in the future. I especially like the song This Is How Villains Are Made by Madeline Duke, which promises very dark things for Jake's future, suggesting that he may be following the same path Charles Lee Ray took when he was a child. The opening and ending bumpers suggest we will be flipping around Ray's timeline, as the whole series is set in the town where Ray grew up. While I'm not a fanatic, and Chucky is probably my fourth favorite slasher of all time, I love the films. And while I think things got a little off track with the ambiguous multi-Chuckies in Cult of Chucky and the meta Jennifer Tilly stuff, I really appreciated Don Mancini for sticking to this series through thick and thin. This first installment managed to be quite gruesome at times, with that one gnarly death, as well as inventive in making the walking and talking doll look and act menacing. As usual, the doll looks great with animatronic facial gestures, moving fingers, and the little cheats along the way to make him look alive. There are a lot of scenes where Chucky is just a lifeless doll, and I imagine there will be lots more, given that this series and the budget may not give the doll the mobility some of the films achieved. I also think Chucky's hair is pretty out of control, but it does make him look downright rabid when he flips his hair around while he's in full assault mode. Death by Misadventure is a strong start, and I hope the series is able to maintain this level of storytelling. There's a small cameo over the phone by someone who sounds a whole lot like Child's Play's Andy, played by Alex Vincent, who's made cameos in the last two films. And the series promises to have more cameos from Fiona Dourif as Mika from Curse and Cult of Chucky, Jennifer Tilly as herself and Tiffany, Child's Play 2's Christine Elise, and others from Chucky's past. Maybe we might get an appearance from Chris Sarandon and Catherine Hicks from the original Child's Play at some point. This adds to an already talented cast, with Devon Sawa playing not just one role, but twins, Jason X's Lexa Doig, and house sitter's Precious Chung, son of Tommy and sister of Ray Dawn. I will say that apart from the strong performance from Zachary Arthur as Jake, the other kids in this episode really didn't dazzle me, but maybe some of them will grow on me. Sure, Chucky is getting topical with teenage angst, bullying, and dealing with homosexuality, but instead of preaching to the audience from a pious angle and making Zachary some kind of perfect, untouchable protagonist, Mancini offers up an imperfect lead facing many different problems and incorporating the hot-button issues into the story. This makes Jake's story feel less like some kind of after-school special listing grievances and more like an actual fate worth getting into. While I know the cameos and ties to the films are coming, the first episode really does offer up a clean start with a darkly fun story, and I'm actually hoping we get more of that for a while. Personally, I can't wait for episode 2. Let me know what you thought of the first episode of Chucky down in the comments. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Gravetrancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're